Hi there and welcome to another video. It's Simon Hurley from Inklips. Today I'm going to be showing you how to stamp with Brusho, and I'm also going to show you how to rip a card apart and give it complete card surgery in case if you don't like it and you want a different result. I'm going to be using some Casual Friday products and stamps today because Michelle from Casual Fridays and Catherine Pooler has challenged me to make a card that will knock Catherine's socks off. So I'm using the Autumn Blessings stamp set here, and I love those solid and negative leaves that we're going to be using today. And I'm also using the Scallop Tags die, the Acorn die which coordinates, and also the Noel die which the Blessing sentiment coordinates down there as well. And we're going to be using all these products in conjunction today to make a fantastic card, and I hope you guys will really enjoy it. So let's get started with our project here. I'm starting out with one of those solid leaves. This is the more wavy one and with a little bit more detail. And I'm using my water brush here and adding a lot of water onto my stamp, and I'm almost dousing it with water because you need a lot for this project. I'm going to be adding some different colors of Brusho here. I'm starting out with some oranges, some yellows, and a little tad bit of brown to make it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to be adding those all to this leaf here. And remember that a little bit of Brusho goes a long way, so you don't want to add too much Brusho onto here, otherwise you will have a huge glop of Brusho powder, and that will not look too great on your project. So now I'm coming back in with my water brush, and I'm going to blend all this out, usually because most of the water has dried, so it didn't give the Brusho enough chance to activate onto your project. So I'm just re-wetting that and going all the way out to the edges, and then if you seem like you got a little bit too much Brusho over the edge and you don't want it to stamp on your project to make a large glop, you can take a dry brush and just go in there and kind of pick some of that color up. So now I'm stamping that down, and you'll notice how much texture it has because this is a piece of distressed watercolor cardstock, and I'm using the more rough side here. And you can also re-wet that stamp that you just used and add no more Brusho onto it, and you'll still get more leaves from it, and you can do 2 or 3 of these. I didn't use them in today's project, but I will be using them in the future as well. So now I'm going in with the second leaf and doing the exact same thing, except I'm going to add a couple of different reds and browns and yellows here as well. I'm kind of mixing up my color palette, but still keeping some of the same colors involved throughout this whole process. So like the same 5 colors get used because I wanted to keep it all kind of similar and have the same look to the leaves. So I'm going to stamp that down as well using that same technique. And the reason why I thought of stamping with Brusho is because I wanted these leaves to have a lot of different texture and color variants, and I thought that the Brusho would be a great way to do this, but I also still wanted the leaves to stay a very vibrant and true color, which the Brusho can also give you to achieve that look. So I'm going back to that first leaf there, and I'm going to add a little bit more water onto it, and then I'm using some reds here, and this one's going to be super vibrant with some reds and some oranges here into this one. And again, keeping with those same 4 or 5 colors. And then I'm going to wet that down with my brush again and stamp this one down here. And I think that's my favorite leaf there. It's really vibrant, and it's one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to be adding those stems now. I die cut those, and I've stamped down with a brown ink here, a dark brown ink. And we're going to be adding those on to my little leaves. I've adhered them down with just some Tombow Mono tape runner. And then I'm adhering some vellum. I've actually fussy cut the leaves, and then I've die cut some vellum with those dies that coordinate, and that will just leave a little bit border of vellum onto there, and you'll see why in just a little bit. It'll really pop out from the card and kind of stand out from that craft background. And snap, just like that, the card is finished for today. I'm just kidding with you guys. I totally did not like how this card turned out. The greeting was not straight on the card, and also I think the tag was a little bit uncentered, and I didn't like how sparkly those sequins was since this was a fall card that we were trying to achieve here. So I'm going to show you how to do a major card surgery to rip apart your card and restart. So I'm taking off these leaves here. You want to be very gentle. I did speed this up so it's a lot faster, but you want to be super gentle when you do this. And if you decide that you want to change your mind, you want to do it pretty quickly before all that adhesive dries right after on your card. So any pieces that you really want to save, you can rip those up really slowly, but any pieces that you don't really care about that you're not going to be using in those other cards, just rip them up fast and just get that done with. So now I'm using the laser etched Misty here. I love this Misty, and I'm going to do some more videos on it in the future to show you guys how it kind of works here. But I'm just using it to line up my sentiment because I find I am terrible at lining up sentiments, and that's why it was crooked on the last card. So I'm shifting it up a little bit, and I'm also centering it a little bit more, and I find that this Misty really helps me with my stamping. So I'm inking it up with that same brown ink that coordinates with those stems that I stamped for those leaves, and I'm going to just stamp that down, giving it some nice pressure. And after that, I'm going to die cut this Blessing sentiment with, I'm going to add some frog tape onto it and run it through my die cutting machine here. And there we go, I've die cut that out. I've made sure it was nice and straight here, because on my last tag it was a little bit crooked. And now I'm going to be adding those same leaves back on. You don't need to add any more adhesive, I found, because they were pretty sticky already. And I'm just adding them onto my card. I'm taking my time here, because the first time that I made the card, I really sped and was kind of rushing through it. But now I'm really taking my time and making sure to line these leaves up and making sure the card is really nice and perfect here. So I'm just lining them up. I wanted them to stick over the top of the tag because there is a craft background, and that's why we added the vellum onto here, so it would kind of stand out from the vellum at the top there. So there's my tag, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of twine onto it. I've wrapped 2 pieces of twine together that look a little bit different, and they both got a natural feel to them. And I'm just going to tie a little bow with that. And there's my card. I finished it off by stamping down a wood grain background on some craft cardstock with that same brown ink, and I've added the tag onto the card with some foam tape here. I really enjoyed working with some Casual Fridays stamps and dies today, and remember, all the products will be listed and linked down below to where you can find some of those items. Also, if you think this video knocked Catherine Pooler's socks off, leave a big thumbs up and tell me what you liked most about the card down below in the description. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I would really appreciate that. If you would stop over by my blog, inklips.com, you can find much more information and still photos about this card, and much more inspiration from many other cards as well. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Have a great night, everybody,